Well, good morning, welcome. Glad you can be with us. At a rather early age, we develop answers to three important questions. And ironically, we develop the answers before we're even aware of asking the questions, but they are innate, and they impact our life very, very deeply. These questions you've heard before, I'm sure. Very fundamental questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? Who am I? What's my life about? What's real? What's my place in the world? These are questions that we unknowingly ask as soon as we're born, and we absorb the answers rather than are given them in words. And these answers we come up with very, very strongly influence the course of our life, the course of our worldview, our inner life and our outer life. Over time, spiritual practice, Dharma practice, will begin to expose and erode and bring to light these answers, these questions. And when they do so, we often feel a deep kind of an existential angst and uneasiness, because it feels like there's kind of an earthquake taking place inside of us, that the very foundation upon which we stand psychically is being challenged, being shaken. This can also happen at times of major transitions in our life. The death of someone close to us, or a divorce, or some major life disruption oftentimes also challenges very abruptly at times these questions and these answers. So the good news is this is an opportunity to explore them, to look at them, and to begin to consciously choose and to allow, in some cases, the answers to be chosen for us by that which is greater than our ego self. So let's talk a little bit about this. Who am I? We have very deep and we have many layers of identification. We identify with the body, and not just with the physical body, but we have an image of the body in the mind that we identify with. We identify with our personal history. I am this person that did thus and so. We identify with our relationships. I belong to this family and this group, this tribe. We identify with our aspirations, our desires. My intention is to become this or that. So our sense of self is embedded in a worldview, and this is quite literally our reality. the reality we live in, not necessarily the ultimate reality, but for us it is, because it's the water in which we swim, so to speak. So when, through spiritual practice, through mindfulness, through equanimity, through surrender, opening, we loosen our grip on these and they begin to show up. And usually they show up, as I mentioned, in a form of kind of uneasiness and bewilderment and sometimes anxiety. Disidentification can feel like the sense of just not knowing who I am, feeling kind of lost, feeling like I'm not who I was, but I don't know who I am. Finding it harder and harder to define oneself the way we used to. I remember at times in my life when I was going through disidentification, I would look in the mirror and in a sense almost be amazed that there was an image there, because it felt like I was invisible. Felt like there was no me. My old self had vanished. So disidentification is very common and difficult experience to have, and at the same time a very, very powerful experience to have, because our identification lies at the core of our whole world. And when our identification changes, our reality changes, our world changes. And as we allow that real world to emerge, then the old world disappears, much like a dream goes away, even if it's a very intense dream. When we wake up in the morning, that dream will fade into oblivion, and it's gone. And so we realize that it felt so real, and yet it was just the mind at work, the activity of the mind at work. So, making peace with not knowing, making peace with this sense of disidentification. A second question, why am I here? We have answers coming to us from every direction in our culture, from our family, schools, peers, and so forth. I'm here to make a difference in the world. Maybe that's what we are committed to. I'm here to make others happy. I'm here to excel, achieve. I'm here to, quote, do it right. I'm here to assert myself, be in control, be strong. Whatever it is, these are not consciously chosen, but they arise out of our cultural and family milieu, the matrix we live in. And so we operate, and these are sort of part of the operating system that keeps us going. We operate based upon the truth of the reality of the conclusions we come to. Some examples. I'll take this one from my own life. If you work hard, if you do it right, you'll be rewarded, and ultimately you'll be happy. Working hard, doing it right, doing all the things that I've been told to do, and that will get you what you want. Well, I did, and it didn't. And I was very disillusioned. And so that disillusionment can come about as a feeling of being lied to, feeling angry, feeling cheated, feeling betrayed. Actually, it's more than disillusionment. It's you might call it disenchantment, because our culture sort of weaves this enchantment. If you do this, then you'll get this. Or we may believe that if we have the perfect family, or the perfect home, or if my children are all happy, or if I make peace with everybody, then everything will be wonderful. If everybody likes me, and if everybody's happy, then I'm happy. Maybe not. Many have tried it, and it doesn't work. And again, we may feel angry, we may feel lied to, we may feel a lot of grief, because we perhaps have spent a whole lot of time and effort and many years investing in these beliefs, taking care of family, getting educated, making money, or building a business, or whatever it is, you say. If I do this, I'll be happy. And disenchantment says happiness doesn't come by doing something. So that can feel very frustrating and demoralizing sometimes. The third question, where am I going? Typically this has to do with the future, with our sense of the future. You know, in the West in particular, we tend to see our life on a timeline from left to right, because that's the way we read, from left to right. So my life is coming from here, going here, and this is where I am in here. But that whole model can be dissolved as well. We may lose our sense of personal history. I'm not who I was. I'm not only who I wasn't before, but I'm not even a person on this journey. I don't even feel like I'm going anywhere. Doesn't even feel like a journey sometimes. So the past and the future seem to be disrupted when this particular question, where am I going, gets broken. And I refer to this as disorientation. You know, we tend to orient ourselves based on the past, the future. Here's where I am, here's where I came from, here's where I want to go. This is what I need to do to get there. And this is me who's doing all of this getting and going. Maybe not. Maybe not. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, what is real? It may feel like I have no ground to stand on. So I found this poem by T.S. Eliot that just describes to a T what I'm referring to. In order to arrive at what you are not, you must go through the way in which you are not. And what you do not know is the only thing you know. And what you own is what you do not own. And where you are is where you are not. So, the only thing we know is that we don't know anything. Where am I going? I don't have any idea. I know where I'm not going. I know where I was. Who am I? Well, I can tell you who I was, who I thought I was. Who am I now? I don't know. So that's where the Dharma practice can be so incredibly important. Taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Because the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha refuge gives us a structure. Who I am is the Buddha. Where am I going is the Dharma. What's it all about? This moment. Where do I belong? That's the Sangha. So, spiritual practice, particularly the Dharma practice, in my experience anyway, is a way of creating a container, sort of like this bowl here, that when the illusionary self, the illusionary world, falls apart, as it will, we've got something to hold us, something to catch us. This is what we mean by taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. That I fall into it, and it holds me. So being willing to have equanimity, even though it's difficult, being willing to have faith, it's not a word that's used a lot in Buddhism. One of the pillars of Zen Buddhism is great faith. And faith simply means recognizing that with perseverance, with diligence, with continued practice, all of this will be revealed. We start out thinking, I'm somebody that's doing it. You know, we have an identification as a meditator, and I'm practicing Buddhism, and I'm going to be enlightened. You see, that's the new who am I, where do I belong, and where am I going? So eventually we let go of that also. There is no meditator, there is no Buddhism, there is no enlightenment. There's just what is in this moment. And when we really come down to the naked reality of what's here in this moment, we realize that that's all we ever need. And that's all that we ever want. And so I think I'll close with that. So thank you for listening this morning, and I wish you well.